Welcome to Monday Night Live, the weekly training that guides professionals to financial prosperity. Join our community and start building your wealth.
What I'm going to do tonight is the first of a 5-part series, and tonight is all about the basics, the fundamentals. And we've got some real good veterans on tonight, but actually Tom Wolf being one of them. And so, Tom, what I like to do with everybody every year is we do a whole section, a 4-week session called VGAP, Vision, Goals, Action Plans. We did that in December. In January, we hit the ground running with our vision, our goals, our plans, and we execute. So we form little huddles, little subgroups. One is on something called CAP, like Lily, Dr. Lisa runs that. CAP stands for Certified Affordable Housing Provider. So, and it's not just people who are in the, can't afford anything. This applies to $1 million houses too. So if anybody who's needs to bridge that gap from where they are to get the house they want, that's one of our huddles. And another one, of course, agent attraction. You've probably heard that. Another one is on production. So we'll probably have one on new construction by the time the month is out, and probably another one on another function we're working on. But we do those specialty groups so people that want to focus on one discipline can have a place to do that with maybe 10 other people. So in any case, throughout these next 5 weeks, the first thing I always tell people is, I don't even want you spending money on marketing at all until your database is up and running. Everybody's loaded, uncles, aunts, cousins, nieces, nephews, and set up with some type of a campaign. Automated monthly market update is always the classic favorite. Because of what it does, it creates front of mind presence, right? So, our uncles and aunts aren't going to buy and sell houses every day. But when they go to church on Sunday and work on Monday, and somebody says, "Hey, we're being transferred," we're going to say, "You've got to call Lisa Sears or Rob Perot, excuse me, because he's my cousin, she's my niece, and I get a market report from her every single month. She knows what she's doing, she's good." That's why we do it. Because your database should be producing at a minimum 10%. So in any case, that's tonight. And then we're going to do the 4 other sessions on doing work groups, setting up other campaigns. So a lot of our marketing is clonable. So we made it so they can get a token code, download it automatically into their CRM, and not have to lift a finger to create the marketing campaign. You just tag their records properly. And each of those people that's say like a flipper will get all the campaigns all the emails in the flipping campaign. So that's next week. The week after is on work groups, B&I groups, networking groups, chambers of commerce, meetups, things like that. And so we're pretty big on that because we've done a lot of business having that. And what it comes down to, guys, I'm going to share this with you. There's 10 activities we've identified, right? This is the GIA 2.0. And what I want all my team members to do is to focus on initially one of those, okay? And ultimately 2 or no more than 3. It is extremely difficult to operate and measure and track more than 3 marketing campaigns at the same time. It's just, I gotta tell you, I'm not the sharpest knife in a drawer, but I've attempted more, and it's too easy to waste money and miss things. Can I get an amen from the crowd? So my goal is to keep you focused and on task with the things that matter most to you. If your thing is working with investors, then that's what we're going to focus on. If you like traditional clients who are downsizing, that's we're going to focus on that. But in any case, we'll get to that later on. Right now, we're going to focus on the basics. So Mo, good to see you. Madupe, glad to have you in class tonight. Jackie Z, always good to see you too. First things first, we have clients on here, or sorry, students on here from different brokerages, mostly on the Global Investor Agent team, but people from different brokerages and all over the country. So what I'm going to show you tonight, you should be able to apply to whatever CRM that you're using. Okay. The one thing that's not going to be directly CRM related is our lead sourcing. I'm going to start with lead sourcing because in this business, you will find out that, well, let me put it this way. Most agents start out doing marketing right away. You're going to be tempted to do a 5,000 piece mailer, a postcard, something like that. A lot of people have gone through that and done that and realized it didn't really generate much, if at all. So we don't do that. What we do is we focus on the fundamentals, the basics, just like in basketball. If you ever listen to Larry Bird or Michael Jackson in their final interviews, it's almost the exact same thing. Every day, even the day of their last game, they woke up, they dribbled the ball 3,000 times. They passed the ball 2,000 times and they shot the ball 1,000 times. The people that focus and practice the fundamentals and master them always win the game. It's just a fact of life. So that's where we start. Then later on, you can start to add in other marketing paid. Okay. But what I'm getting at here is the lead sourcing. Who is it that you're marketing to? If you're trying to send out a 5,000 piece postcard payment, that tells you right away you did not lead source. You're trying to use marketing as your lead sourcing, and that is not the right thing to do. Marketing is what you do with people you already have identified. Guys, is this making sense so far? Do not spend money on marketing, except one exception if you're trying to attract people. You can use Facebook and YouTube and things like that for that. Different class for, we'll do that later in February. But for now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with our lead sourcing program. If there's anybody that's not on the team, this is something we bought for the team 5.5 years ago. And even if doesn't matter if you're brand new or a seasoned veteran, you can get leads from this lead sourcing program that you can then market to. So let me jump in there and we're gonna hit the ground running. So for right now, guys, this first part is listen and learn and take notes, okay? And in about 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes, I'm gonna go into my CRM. We use Bold Trail here. Sometimes some people use Lofty. At EXP, you can use Bold Trail or Lofty. There's another one called Close. And there's even one after that. It's for big giant teams that I choose not to use because Bold Trail is plenty good for what we want. So this is real eFlow. Many of you are already familiar with it. We don't own it. We just basically lease it. And I got the enterprise package on this, like I said, 5.5 years ago. So there's lots of features and functions here, like analysis tools and so forth. But tonight we're going to focus on property leads, okay? And we'll go through one iteration. We can do another one if somebody wants to volunteer. We'll do a lead sourcing in your area, and we'll actually create a file for you, okay? In fact, let's do this. Hey, Monica, is it okay if we use your area as a guinea pig for this? Okay, and I'll actually send you the file. We'll create a file leads and I'll send it to you, okay? Okay.
Oh, I
So
was
what is your
okay.
yeah, what is your county? What county are you in?
Lake County.
Lake?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Lake County, Indiana. There we go. By the way, everybody stay tuned in because I've got a special surprise for you. I'm not going to give any hints because it'll be too obvious, but I've got a little short Facebook link I'm going to share with you, especially if you're, or I'll give you a hint. If you're from Indiana, you're really going to love what I'm going to share with you. Okay. I'll give you a hint number two. It's sports related, but we're going to stop right there because you probably know where I'm going with that. So just hang on to your seats. I'll share with that in a little bit. All right, Lake County. We look over here where my cursor is. I'm going to highlight 178,135. That's how many residential property records you have in Lake County. Now, clearly, we do not want to market to 173,000 people. We also do not want to market to 1,000 people. We don't even want to market to 100 people. What we're going to do is we're going to literally narrow this down within about 5 minutes to about 50 people. And I can't guarantee it because I've never done this in Lake County. But based on all of our years of experience in creating thousands of files of leads over the last 5.5 years, I'm telling you, if you just focus on the lead generating, the filtering, what we call the filters, I'll click on that. Think about who you're serving. So in other words, let's say you want to you're getting started. Let's do an avatar here. So Monica's breaking into the business. She just joined. She's got a local mentor in Indiana, and then she'll eventually be on a team helping us serve our investor community from around the country, really, or from around the world. Okay. But when I work with new agents, I like to have them start with the basics like anything else. And one of those basics is this. We try to focus on a supply where there's a lot of that supply. And then we want to focus on a demand, where's a lot of that demand. So the supply, if you look at real estate as a whole, the most common property is a single family home. By far, nothing else comes close. Okay. Single family home. By the way, it's a 3 bedroom single family home. So, but what we generally don't think of is who owns that property? Who do we want to approach? What type of demographics and social graphics do we want? What type of data do we want to help us determine who's most likely interested in selling? And this is where the filtering comes in. So what's an interesting surprise here is out of that 173,000 properties, only 5,501 what we call board investors. I'm going to select that. Let's see what a board investor means. Board investor means, if you hover the question mark, it's someone who's an absentee owner, so they don't live there, and they've owned it 10 years or more. Okay. That's sort of long-term ownership. In the case of real estate investing, what we know is most investors begin to start selling after 10 years. That's the actual statistic. And Relieflow knows that, just like we do. My average hold time, by the way, has been 12 years, right? On the average, I'm selling for 12 years. But in any case, the reason I'm picking this is even though I'm picking properties that are owned by investors, that doesn't mean I'm going to market them for sale to other investors only. Because remember, who can buy a single family home? Pretty much anybody. Okay. So I'm going to market it to the most people possible. I'm just focused on this particular type of seller because I know the landlord investor mindset. And I know down here where it says vacancy 609, investors hate vacancies. That means there's no income coming in at all. They're completely in the red. Everything is going out the door, expenses, taxes, insurance, water, sewage, garbage, maintenance, repairs, all expenses, and no money's coming in. So if we pick that, that takes us down to 609. Okay. Now I can also focus on any one of these. I can focus on 207 people that are in foreclosure out of that 609. As I pick each criteria, the number of people in that pool drop. Remember, I'm trying to get to 50, all right? So, and I'm actually not going to pick foreclosure. I've done that game before. It is not fun. It does work. And every agent you're going to find out in the next couple of years is going to say, I'm going to go after all the foreclosures. And we teach that. You can do thousands of them. Over 3,000 REOs that I do, some of them I bought for myself. But it's a lot of work. And they treat you like crap. That's just the fact of the asset managers. Um, they run us ragged because they know they can. With a lot of foreclosures, that means the economy's not doing so well. So we've been riding this horse for a long time. When a bubble bursts, it's probably going to hurt. We don't know when it's going to be, but why try to play that game? Why not just prepare for it? And that's what we're doing. In any case, I like working with people who own the property free and clear. So I'm going to pick that one. Okay. So now we're down to 248. We're not doing too bad so far. But I can also focus on this. I can focus on owners who are also still actively engaged, active investors. These are people who have other properties that they've recently bought, like in the last 3 years. We consider them active, even though these 248, I'm sorry, yeah, 248, they've owned more than 10 years. Okay. So they've owned it more than 10 years. No one's thinking this house is going to need a new roof, a new furnace, a new whatever. I can sell that, take that money, and go out and buy another property that's doesn't have as much deferred maintenance. So I'll go ahead and pick the active investors on top of that. And now we're really getting down to bare bones. So here's what we're going to do next. All right, I'm going to scroll down. Actually, before I do, so far, if you have a question, guys, please unmute yourself and ask it or type it in the chat box. PF and I will monitor the chat box, okay? But I want to make sure you're grasping this so far. So if you guys could all give me a hand raise, or give me a thumbs up. So far it's making sense, or thumbs down if you're not quite following me. If you're not quite following me, please do not be shy. This is a working session. And my goal is to make sure you actually understand this before we move forward. Does it make sense, guys? Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and move down to other filters and see what we can do here. We can focus on property valuations. So let's do this. Monica, what would you say is a good price range for your area?
Um, for investment property.
No, just remember single family homes in general, because
Oh,
we're gonna get
there.
it listed, but we're gonna market to them everybody, you know?
Yeah, so I would say 250 to 400.
Okay, so let's do this. Let's make it 300 to 400, because then we're gonna focus on, oops, here, 400,000, 300,000. Let's see what that does for us. Takes all the way down to seven. No, we've gotta drop that down more. So let's go down to 250, like you said. That should raise it back up a good bit. Ooh, just nine. Wait, we're gonna go down to 200,000 actually. It's been a while since I've been there. I have been there, but I've actually been there taking pictures for one of my investor students years ago. I took us to 20. Let's just do this. Let's take off the maximum and see if that doesn't help. Just 21. So we're gonna have to go down to, actually, I'm gonna leave it there. I like 21. If our file size is 20 or more, we'll do it. You know, we just don't want to be in much more than 50 people, because we're actually going to communicate with these people directly. Okay. So this is not cast a wide net and wait for people to respond to you. We're going to reach out to them directly using multiple media. Okay. Many as two, three, four, five different media. We're going to really find these people and have a conversation with them. Right. So fast forward here. Let's keep going. We can also focus on number of bedrooms. So I can put in there a minimum 3 bedrooms, which I probably should do. That might knock us down a little bit more. That took us down to 16. Um, but this is just an exercise. I'm still going to send you the file, Monica. Okay. But
Oh,
what I'm trying to do is demonstrate the system and how you use it. We can also focus on certain owner types, like individuals, just like us, our own name. Businesses, that's your LLCs. A lot of investors own properties in LLCs. Financial is banks, of course, you know what government and trust brokers are. Um, Here's a section I really like. We can focus on owners who have an FHA or a USDA or a VA mortgage, because all three, FHA, VA, USDA, 100% assumable across the board. And all the buyer has to do is qualify like they would for their own new mortgage. It's the same qualification process. And the reason I would do that, even though interest rates are still around 6%, but I can focus on these mortgages that have an interest rate no more than, say, 4%. So I can put 4 in here for maximum interest rate. Then we take those properties, strip off the addresses, take the pictures and descriptions, and put them out there like on Facebook and a YouTube channel and all over, and promote to the buyers and say, how'd you like to own this home and be able to take over a 3% mortgage legally? We'll get all kinds of phone calls, you know? So keep in mind, that's another way to use this system. There's 21 different ways you can use this system. Lead source and market to people. Further down, oh, it does interface with all the MLSs. So the beautiful thing about this platform, if you're on the team, is you could be licensed in Indiana, or you could be licensed in Florida, you could be licensed anywhere, but you only need that one license to operate. Okay, wherever we have team members, we can operate in those states by the fact that they have a license with a broker of record in that state. And since this platform is national, it lets you work with people in all those areas. You don't have to just stick with your area. This will really help you expand the scope of your business dramatically. Okay. In any case, we also have all the foreclosure information. We know how many pre-foreclosure, what we call notices of default, they've received. We know the last time they received one. We also know if they're in foreclosure, when the auction date is. So we know all of that information. Uh, let me show you the kind of data that we get. Let's pick this first one here, 510 Chicago Street in Hammond. So we have the address. We come down here to the lead types. So we know they're an absentee owner. They're active, they're still active, they're active investor. We're also a board investor, 10 years of ownership. They paid cash for this property. It was actually flipped when they bought it. They want a flipped property, it's 5. The owner free and clear, that's 6, and they have a vacancy. That is 7 criteria. So just a pop quiz question here. what is a better quality prospect to work with? Someone that's just an absentee owner, for example, they meet one criteria, or someone who meets seven criteria. Which prospect would you rather spend your time and energy on?
The seven.
Absolutely. We call it lead stacking. I mean, sorry, criteria stacking. The more criteria matches we have, the easier our job's going to be. So now we're spending less time, energy, and money on fewer people that are far more qualified. But please give me a hand raise if this makes sense. And if it doesn't, please let me know. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually, I've got to get rid of this old lead file here, 31. Hang on one second. Remove all of those. I'm going to go back to where we were. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the list. I'm going to select this, select all. Okay. I'm going to go to my leads. These are the 16 that we just found. And I'm going to download them. So a couple things here. And this is something I want you to please remember. We can create a standard CSV file, which is what we're going to do. All right. So Monica, just remind me before class is out. I'm going to grab this file from my hard drive and I'm going to email it to you. Okay.
Okay, thanks,
There's
Gary.
16 leads you can use. Yep, you're welcome. But I can also create a custom audience to be used on social media. The same 16 people. You can come out here, you can tell it. I want a Facebook audience. Last Instagram, they call it Meta now. Or you're going to use it on X or LinkedIn or TikTok or Pinterest, Reddit, Snapchat, you name it. But what that means is that opens up a whole new channel of communication we call media. So media is either phone, it's either going to be a call or a text, paper mail, like an actual letter. We do use letters, by the way, we still do. Online, which is your social media. Okay. So in any case, multiple media, the more media we can communicate people with, the better chance we have of reaching them. Some people, they're just on Facebook all day long. Other people could care less and they only answer text messages. Some people only want to do emails, right? So we have to determine that by using multiple media to communicate with these people, right? So so far so good. Everybody okay? Let me stop the pause here for just a second and look for questions. And if anybody on the team wants to add anything, like you didn't something I didn't say that you thought I should be saying, please let me know. I don't want to be the emperor in the tower with no clothes. Please let me know if I'm missing something. So okay, wait. Now let's
Hey,
do this.
Gary, real quick. When you're grabbing social posts or something from that list, what are you actually throwing out into social media? A picture of it?
There's a number of things we can do. So what we can do is those people there, that 16, we're actually looking to convert them to a listing. Okay.
Right.
So what I would do there is um, I would we for number one, we get their mailing address, we get the
Hmm.
subject property, and we get the owner's property also, the mailing address. And I would most likely start with a letter since it's only
Okay.
16. And but it's not a mass market letter. We actually handwrite the recipient's address on the envelope. And the letter itself, even though it's typed, we actually do hand sign it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have all that language, we buy ugly houses and I want to pay cash for
I
every
just
house.
no, I was just I thought you were doing a social media post with those addresses or those pictures or something, which I don't know that we can do something like that in
We, we
Indiana.
well we can, but I'll give an example. So what we'll do is we'll start with a letter first, and then the second type of communication, Tom, that's where we might either use a phone call or go into social media and leave a Facebook message. Like you can, if you're
Yeah,
not friends
okay,
with them,
okay,
you leave a message saying, "Hey, I'm Gary Wilson. I sent you a letter about your house located at 123 Main Street.
okay, cool.
I'm just trying to get a hold of you because I really do have clients like Lisa Davis Watson who are looking for a three-bedroom ranch just like yours in your area."
Yeah.
That's literally
Okay.
that's we're just reciting the letter, but in most cases, we're not going to send any addresses or anything like that through social media.
Yeah,
Um,
okay.
we could send pictures as long as they're um, like we can pick properties that have been sold. And what we can say is we have properties just like this in your area and show the pictures. You can show um, it- um, most states, as long as something's been sold as part of the public record, you can use it for informational purposes and educational purposes. But if you're using something that somebody's got actively advertised for sale, you have to get their permit. You're supposed to get their permission.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
but most agents are okay with you firming up the buyer because they're still trying to get the listing commission. But you can't really use their pictures. You have to,
Okay.
they're active. Yeah. So, um, in any case, let's see here. All right, I'm going to go into Bold Trail. By the way, does anybody here use Lofty? Any Lofty users in the group?
Rose
Okay.
Michelle does.
Yes, I do.
Okay. So Rose, I might call on you in a minute. I'm gonna go into Bold Trail now. But if we could go into Lofty when I'm done, all I want to do is show people how to, you got to get a record up in there first and then tag it. Okay. Uh, but Shasta, you use Lofty too. I forgot about that because I knew you had something else before and then you switched. That's right. So how many Bold Trail users do we have here? Okay. All right. Can I ask for a volunteer? I want somebody to bring up their Bold Trail account so I can keep doing the narrating and teaching. And I'll write you a check for $1 million.
Gary, I would do it, but I'm having an issue with Bold Trail running really slow on my computer. So
Okay.
they're working on it for me.
No worries. PF, would you mind going to the Bold Trail? All we're gonna do is show people how to
Sure.
tag a record, and I'll guide you through it. Okay. I'll guide you. So you're already co-host, so you can go ahead and log on the Bold Trail and then share your screen when you're ready. So guys, what we're gonna do is in Bold Trail, here's what's really neat. That file we just created, if Monica wants to load that in Bold Trail, she doesn't even have to do that herself. Bold Trail will load it for you for free. You just have to get it in the right format. So right now we have it in a CSV format. First thing we would do, open up the CSV file and save it with an Excel extension. Okay. And then Bold Trail gives you the format. So you do what's called a mapping. You go from your format that you get from ReallyFlow into the Bold Trail format. And it's a one-time conversion. And I'm not going to show it to you because you know, you can Google that. It'll give you exact 1, 2, 3. Here's what you do, and then Bold Trail will load that in for you. Okay. Um, but what I really want to show you is how do you tag your records, and not just the mechanics of picking a tag. You can actually create tags, but more importantly, the rationale behind how you tag them. All right. So PF, let me know when you're ready. Okay.
Doing it now.
Okay. Good. Um, Go ahead and pull up a record. If you have me on there or you on there, go ahead and pull up either your record or my record, um, so we can be the guinea pig and not mess up one of your actual contacts. Because I'm gonna turn off my participants in my chat just so I can have a bigger screen here. Okay. Yeah, so any one of those will do. Hey, do you actually live on Soldier Field Drive? I just saw that. You're muted, PF.
No, it's just a fake address.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. I just thought that was pretty neat.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do, actually, let's do this. First, no, go ahead and stay here. Now, have you added hashtags to anybody yet?
Uh, yes. Well, this one has one hashtag, so this
Okay.
will be a good idea.
Go ahead. Let's go ahead and click that. Let's add another one. Okay. So there's a selection of hashtags you have available to you. But see, guys, we can also create a hashtag. Okay. Look at this cash buyer, people in, company assigned, buyer, book club. Um, one time on our team, we actually ran a book club. Actually, there was a ladies' book club that ran. It was pretty neat. Um, so we can really pick any one of these. I just want to show people how easy it is to add a hashtag. But while we're doing this, here's the kind of things you want to ask yourself, guys. Just like in Really Flow, when we chose multiple criteria backing, when you're adding tags, hashtags to your contact records, you want to add as many as you can think of that makes sense. You want to think through who, what, where, when, how do you know these people? And if you don't see a hashtag that matches either the who, what, where, when, or how, create one. You can create one that says, hashtag, Chicago, you met them in Chicago, or hashtag uh, parent, or let's see, parents with children, PWC, parents with children. You could create a hashtag called parents with children. You can create a hashtag called retiree. So once you have asked the 5 questions on each contact, you can create or add, assign any number of hashtags. And here's why we do this. This is one of the most important lessons in the whole night here. When you hashtag people multiple ways, you can create marketing campaigns and speak to them directly. So you could say, you can create a marketing campaign that speaks to parents with children who you met in Chicago, and they also have invested. So they have hashtag investor, hashtag Chicago, hashtag PWC, parents with children. Okay. And you can create a marketing campaign for people that have owned a house more than 3 years, and they've already invested, and you can campaign to them and say, look, we have a number of properties out here we found um, where the owner is ready to sell. They just need buyers. And here's the sampling time. When we would show those properties after we contacted the people on Really Flow, show them the properties and descriptions, not the actual address. Just say that this is an example of the properties we have that you can buy and assume a 3% mortgage for 20% down. Because in Really Flow, we can also determine if they have low equity, which is 20% equity or less. So, right, I just gave you a mouthful there. If you have a question, please ask the question. And while we're doing this, this is the big moment of truth. I want you to go ahead and log into your CRM. If you have Bold Trail or Lofty, it's going to be much easier. If you're in a different brokerage, you might have something like Top Producer. You might still have KV Core. I don't know, but I'm pretty darn sure all CRMs today are sophisticated enough to allow you to tag your records, and you also have a way to import records. So you don't have to import a record right now, but I definitely want you to pick a record in your contact management system. Go ahead and do this now. Grab a record at random, pull it up. If you've already got them hashtagged, whether you're due or not, come up with 1 or 2 more hashtags. I want you to get in the habit every time you go in your database. As soon as you add somebody new, make sure you hashtag as soon as possible. Otherwise, we're just taking up space. And if you try to market to them, you don't have a specifically worded, directed campaign to them. Most cases, it's going to get ignored. Okay. When you try to ask something of everybody, you usually get nothing from anybody. But if you ask something specific from specific people, you're far more likely to get responses. Does that make sense, guys? Okay. Now I know it sounds
Yes.
like thank you. I know it sounds like a lot of legwork, but I'm telling you, this is the foundation upon which your success is going to be built. If you do the work now on your records, contact records, okay? If you do the work now, your business is going to get a lot easier for a longer period of time. So for any of the veterans on right now, if you want to chime in and give your 2 cents worth, actually anybody if you want to add your 2 cents worth, please share. I want you to share your experience, particularly for the newer people, of how valuable it is to have a contact management system, have a database that's actually producing for you. Yeah. Yeah. Hey Rob Parrott, how you doing, buddy? Robert, if you can hear me, it looks like you're unmuted, but I know you and I've got a call coming up, so that's a good thing.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah,
tomorrow?
here. I'm having issues with my camera though. While we're doing this, I'm trying to turn my camera on. So,
That's okay.
um, yeah, I had a call with you this morning. I scheduled it about 6:30 this morning. I rescheduled it for tomorrow. I had it for today, but I would up having to run out to the East Coast, and it's just a mess. But, um, yeah,
Tomorrow at
um,
11.
yeah, time to get
Good.
more serious about my business. So, calling
Good.
you.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. Good time of year. Me too. They getting serious
Oh yeah,
again. So don't worry, we'll get you rocking and rolling. Sometimes we need a reboot. It happens to all of us, including me. You know, we just did a reboot a few months back, right? So here we are, and we're all benefiting from it. So
I was on the phone with Jay Kinder on Wednesday and with Holly today. So, yeah.
good, good. That's what it takes. Keep reaching. I mean, everybody's accessible, right? Hi, I just want to take a moment to thank you for watching a recording of the Monday Night Live class. Hope you're getting a lot out of it. I'm sure you will. I wanted to let you know that, you can come to Monday Night Live whenever you want, but you can also participate more with the team. Why don't you set up a call with me, a one-on-one strategy call? I can go over everything with you, show you everything that we have to offer. For example, did you know that on our team, not only do you get your leads, we actually give you your own account on our lead gen system. So this puts you in control. You're not waiting on somebody to hand you leads. You get to pick the ones you want. Okay. Huge difference. We have 21 of our own proprietary marketing campaigns. They're all copyright protected. We're the only ones that can use them. Okay. The coaching is absolutely one-on-one. We got 3 coaches. We even have a 4th success coach that we have access to. Okay. One of left fewer than 100 in the world. Okay. One-on-one coaching. Right now the big problem is volume. We need more transactions. We need more inventory. I get it. Well, we know how to get it. Our team actually outproduces the national average by more than 2 to 1. So if you're struggling, don't do that anymore. If you're a solo agent, if you're a team, let's just talk. Smart entrepreneurs are always open to discussion. Learn what we have to offer, and then you can make an informed decision about staying where you are or moving on. You've got to decide, if you're not where you want to be, you've got to take action to get where you want to be. Let's see how we can help you do that. I look forward to talking to you. Click on the link, set up a call. And by the way, I'll see you on the next Monday Night Live.
Yeah.
So you get the support, goes all the way up the line. So in any case, right, if you're okay, can we go ahead and switch to Rose Michelle and show you Lofty, what we do there? Anybody's contemplated Lofty, it's a great system.
Hey,
I've not personally used it, but a lot of people do, and I've heard nothing but good about it. It's slightly different than Bold Trail. I think Bold Trail has more functionality, but Lofty, I think, is more um, for people who are more technically inclined. I think it has a better interface with the social media. Bold Trail does interface with social media. Don't get me wrong; it works great. It captures all the comments and everything. But for Lofty, I think probably makes it a little bit easier for people who are more technically inclined. So, Rose
Gary,
Michelle.
I'm actually on my tablet tonight.
Oh,
Um,
okay. I don't know what that would look like on Zoom. The tablet's using the telephone interface network, and
yeah.
not not computer internet. So I'm not sure if that would work actually. That's okay. Guys, if you could chime in, just let me know if what we just went through makes sense. Do you feel like you can do it on your own? If you don't, please speak up now. 'Cause we can log in. You've got plenty of people here that use Bold Trail, and we can probably get you through one iteration in less than 5 minutes, and it would be worth it. It'd be a great lesson for everybody that needs it. Um, and if not, that's okay. We'll keep moving along here.
I'm going. I'm fine, but maybe you want to reach out to Shastine.
Yep. Oh, Shastine, are you still on? Let me see here. Let me promote. I got to promote Sean. Hang on 1 second. Hey, Sean, Fia and Mo and Jackie.
Sean and Wynette and Willette and Modupe declined earlier.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. I think Shastine's already logged off. She probably saw we were doing Shastine's way beyond the basics. So,
Yeah, she's
Gary,
gone.
I'm doing mass marketing presets. So I create my emails in ChatGPT,
Okay.
expand on them, then put them into Bold Trail and schedule them out. So usually 3 times a week, everybody's getting something from me. And then sometimes I have something that's going out just to my vacant homeowners or my absentee owners or whatever. So tonight, sometimes I split it up, and other times it's just a thing that's scheduled out for Friday morning that has all the activities for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in my area.
Good. Well, you know what? Keep that in mind because next week we're actually going to go into some of the campaigns. And if we can highlight or show some of what you're doing, part of that, that would be awesome for everybody.
Yeah, we can do that. I like that a lot better than setting up a regular campaign because I find sometimes if I have somebody on a campaign, they'll
Yep.
send me a message out and it'll automatically send them something and I'll answer them and then I'll realize it sent them something that they really didn't need. So they got 2 messages. It's like it goes out of anyway. I prefer scheduling them myself than having an auto campaign.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Guys, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to grab um, this this little document that I'm showing you. I'm going to grab that and put it in the chat for you. So for those of you on the team, you've seen this. I call it GIA Team 2.0. And it has in there the metrics, but more importantly, there's a section called activities. So I just hit the enter key. Do you guys see that in your chat? It's the GIA Team 2.0 doc. Okay.
No.
Not there yet?
No. No.
Okay. It looks like it's still trying to load. Click to retry. Okay. Network disconnected, file name. Well, that's weird because we're definitely connected. You guys can hear me, right? Oh yeah, you just
No.
answered the question. No.
Yeah, we can hear you.
There you go. All right, let's give that a second. I don't think it's too big because I know I've loaded it up here before. Um, that doesn't work. It'll oh, is that it, PF you just put out there?
I hope so. I put the link that I had on my browser.
Okay, let me open that up real quick here. That's it. Thank you, sir. You're a genius. I appreciate it. So, guys, take a look at what PF just put in there and just throw it out to activities. Those are the top 10 activities. And I'm going to just spend a few minutes on why this is so important. Let me know when you've got this Word doc up on your computer. Give me a hand raise or a thumbs up once you've got it open. And I'm going to go over this section called activities. Okay, good. All right, under activities,
Yep.
there's 10 things there. And you're going to see number one says 100% accurate DB. That means your database. All right. So what that means is everybody's loaded. I'm not really mean everybody. And I know this doesn't feel good sometimes because that didn't for me when I first heard this all those years ago. When Merca kept telling me, you need to load up all everybody, aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, and nephews included, and grandparents. And I had the famous response, I don't want to what? I don't want to bother my family and friends. And I can't tell how many times he said that. And he was very patient. John Zisner was his name. And he said, I've heard it a lot already. And at one point, some point, you're going to wake up and realize if you see yourself as being a bother or a bothersome to other people, you're never going to sell a house. He said, we're in the service industry. We serve people. We help them do something that's very important to them. It's one of the biggest decisions they're making in their life. When you see yourself playing that role, your demeanor is going to change. You'll see yourself in a whole new light. That you're a worthy, valuable person. And you should go out there and serve the ones you love, because if you don't, somebody else is. And they might not take as good a care of them as you will. You said, by the way, very rarely will you sell to a family or friend. But what's going to happen is they're going to go out there and refer people to you because you give them valuable information every single month. That's why we do it. Okay. Any questions on that? Like why we actually blowing everybody up there, including our grandparents? Yeah, you're not trying to sell them anything. And what you do when you're, especially when you're starting out with something new, you say, call them up. Say, look, I'm learning a new process. I need to practice before I go public with this. would you mind if I practice with you? You're going to get an email every month with market data matching your property for your whole area. What's active, what's sold, what's pending, what interest rates are, what's happening economically in your area, stuff that you would like to know. Does that sound okay? Most people are going to love you. You're going to say, sure, it's fine. They might not only open the first 3 emails, and they'll never open up another one. But every month they're going to see your email come through. Even though they don't open it, it's a reminder subconsciously. So when they go to church on Sunday and work on Monday, and they hear somebody saying, I've got to move, bingo. It's an automatic trigger subconsciously. You've got to call my niece, my cousin, Lisa Ferry, my nephew to miss. All right. He's an expert in this business. He sends me meaningful data every single month, and he's one heck of a nice guy. That's why we do it. But here's the big thing. Number 2 on that is 10% conversion rate. Guys, I'm just going to tell you, 10%, we call that the floor, right? When I started doing this, that next year I did 110 transactions. Guess how much money I spent on marketing, getting those 110 transactions? 0. Every single one of them came from these efforts. Every single one of them. And it kept going like that. They're like, I bet you easily 95% of my business after 3 years was all from the database. And I could go on and on naming names, but a lot of people you've heard come to class and teach here have said the same thing. Eventually you realize your database is your gold and you serve it. And you do it with heart and passion. I mean, it's fun when you help somebody buy a house. It's fun when you help them sell a house. Sometimes there's headaches. Heck yeah. Look at all this gray hair. But the reality is, you know, when you focus on the right kind of people, you get to choose who you work with, right? It makes a world of difference. But when you're trying to just take anything that comes your way from out of left field, you don't know what you're going to get. That's why we do this kind of work, is it lets you focus on the people you do want to work with. But in any case, let's get to the good stuff, and then we're going to take some questions, all right? So if you look at the third line down, it says automated campaigns. We're going to go over some of those next week. But when you've tackled number 1 successfully, and your database is up and running 100%, that means now all your automated automated campaigns are going to be a lot more effective. You follow where I'm going with this? You're just being more intelligent. Okay. How about phone calls? Now everybody has got a phone number. And when you send out automated campaigns, remember you have a calling sequence. Your level 1 people, your inner circle, that's call every 1 to 3 months. Level 2 people every 3 to 6 months. The level 3 people 6 months and beyond. But would you agree that making phone calls regularly to people that are receiving monthly market updates from you is going to be a much easier phone call? Because all you got to do is say, hey, did you see the last market update I sent you? Isn't that amazing what's happening in your neighborhood? Before I go any further, any questions on that? How many people just had a light bulb go off? Who has ever said to themselves, I dread getting on the phone. I don't even know what to say to people. You know, that's reason number 113 to do automated campaigns. It gives you an automatic reason to call people. You know, by the way, where's the next one down is text messages. So just because you did number 1, 100% accurate database, you've now accomplished 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things. 5 additional activities are now far more likely and possible and far more productive, all because you did number 1. That's why we call it the foundation. When you nail your database, it's like the foundation of a house. Everything goes up much more easily and correctly and accurately. It looks a lot better, right? If you don't, you're going to be left with the bottom part of this list, scratching for air. Like I love all the stuff we do on YouTube, but it works because I have a very good database. Okay. We don't even touch the second part of this list until the first part of the list is producing for you. Right? So that's the document that PF just put out there. Okay, I feel like I'm doing way too much talking for one of our classes, so I need to let you guys ask questions. And would anybody like to give an example of a transaction you've had because of doing this type of activity? You know, just speak to the speak to the power of focusing on the fundamentals. It doesn't have to be in real estate. You could come up with something from your own family or church or your favorite, maybe you golf and
One of my last listings just came from doing this. Hey, Ryan had a question. He had his hand up, and Ryan, do you still have a question?
well,
Maybe not.
is Ryan your
Yeah, Ryan's on.
oh hot dog? Hey Ryan, how you doing, buddy?
But yeah, I use my database and I get listings from it, and it's interesting. I have one guy in particular. He thinks, even though it's a mass email, he thinks it's directly to him, and he answers me every single time. Every single time. He's just the cutest. But yeah.
Well, there's Ryan. Ryan Sunichi. Good to see you, buddy. Good luck with the tests and so forth. We're glad you're in class. Um, well, guys, we're gonna wrap this up here in about 4 minutes. I will stay on though. If anybody needs me to stay on for a challenge with a client or a transaction, please speak up. We can set up a one-on-one with me, but right now you've got a lot of other people in the room that can help. I'm just one person. So Mike Garza, good to see you, buddy. Uh,
Hey, what's going on, Gary? Sorry about that.
yeah. Hey, Mike, real quick, I just realized I never got back to you with the. So when it comes to the half cap and full cap, when
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
on a team, EXP will put you on a half cap as a courtesy, but you can opt to be at a full cap even though you're on a team. The reason you would do that is you want to get what's called icon status. That means number one, you cap, but then you get another 20 transactions. And that's how
Okay,
you can get
so
licenses.
half cap, full cap. What's the
Yeah.
norm?
Full
No,
full
I'm
cap.
saying what's
Here's what I recommend. I'm just I mean, I would want everybody to aim for full cap and try to get Micon. But statistically, that's not going to happen to everybody. I would recommend, since you're new, let's start off with a half cap. If there's maybe $8,000, okay? And then later on, if you see yourself really taking off, or you're taking off faster than you thought, you can always switch to full cap. You can switch back and
okay?
forth. Don't tell them I said you can do it all the time, but there's no rule that says you can't go back and go forward. But I would. This is just me speaking. I'm Mr. Frugal. Start with a half cap since it automatically saves you $8,000. And if you see yourself having a really big up year, because 2026, guys, is telling you, get ready. It's already happened. We're already seeing increase in volume. And with interest rates dropping and a new Fed chairman coming in May, I'm pretty sure you're going to see the volume pick up dramatically. But in any case, Mike, what I'm getting at is you can always switch it to full cap. And the benefit is if you do hit icon status, you get all that 16,000 back anyways in company stock. You know, it is well worth it. I mean, that should be a pretty good carrot for everybody to chase after. I'm
Yeah,
not even.
I'll set up some time with you. I'll set up some time with you, probably about 30 minutes this week, and kind of get that because I'm going through all the EXP start-ons and everything else. So, yeah.
Okay, good.
Cool.
Glad to have you on board too. Yeah.
Sure.
Hey, and Ryan, Phoenicia, I think you may have unmuted yourself a moment ago. If you want to unmute yourself, that would be great. You click the ask to unmute button. There we go. I think that was Ryan. Maybe someone else is speaking up. Not sure. Okay. Well, does anybody have any questions before we go? Oh, let's see. Cool. How does 1:30 p.m. your time Friday? Um, is that for BPF? Looks like it was.
Oh, sorry. I thought I was texting Mike.
Okay, that's okay. I mean, I already have
To
a
try to
little.
set up a one-to-one with you.
Okay. Yeah,
I'm setting up a one-to-one with you right now.
okay. Well, Friday from 1 to 3 or 1 to 2, I've got a standing meeting. At least I hope it's in Glendale like that. I've got a double booking on my hands, so won't be the first time that's happened. Okay, let's see. I want to thank all the guests for being here. We're always glad to have you. You can join anytime. Okay, it's totally open. We don't We don't sell anything. We don't recruit anybody. It's a straight up education. So come and learn. If you're checking the team out, you're welcome to set up a call with me anytime you want. I don't mind taking time and helping you, see what this is all about. You got to actually see one of our big tools tonight is a huge game changer. When you can lead source like that, good Lord, it'll save you oodles of time and money and energy. Holy cow! I can't even. When I think back what we used to do just 5 years ago, how much money and time we spent with lead sourcing, it's insane. Now AI makes it even easier because ReallyFlow uses AI. I didn't even use AI tonight. I just used basic ReallyFlow. Imagine using AI on top of that. So, um, a big game changer. For everybody else, please set up a one-on-one. If you haven't had one for a while, please set up a one-on-one with me so we can strategize and keep moving the ball down the field. Okay. All right. Before I go, I promised you I was going to share something with you. So hang on one second. Let me go to my email. Let's see here. Go here. Email. Let me grab this link. Copy link address. Okay. Um, Now, I know I mentioned earlier, if you're from Indiana, you're probably gonna really like this. This is a Facebook post that one of my colleagues put out there about Fernando, the quarterback from Indiana, who's probably, I'm pretty sure, going to the Raiders. By the way, Tom, you'll get a kick out of this. So the NFL draft is in Pittsburgh this year, where I am. Two of my best buddies are coming up here. We're going to go watch the draft. And one of them is a huge Raiders fan ever since he was a kid. So we're paying the extra money to sit up front with him to be there when they announce Fernando is going to be a Raiders quarterback. I'm hoping the Raiders pick up like Tomlin too as a coach.
That
I
would be
think
awesome.
Tomlin,
That would be awesome.
get Tomlin, and I know, as I promise I'm not going to get on a sports kick here, but Aaron Rodgers obviously used to work with Mike McCarthy. He might stay because Mike
Right.
McCarthy's now the Steelers coach, but he really loves Mike Tomlin. He came here for Mike Tomlin. So I bet if the Raiders get Tomlin, they also get Aaron Rodgers. Perfect match for a brand new rookie quarterback like
Yeah,
Fernando. That would
that'd be
really,
cool.
the Raiders would be a force to be reckoned with. But in any case, that post in there, it has a really good story about Fernando's history. And this is what I want for everybody to do. Your homework, you have to look at the post and read the entire story behind that young man's life. Not an easy life. He never got any breaks. He was not, I mean, the odds of him succeeding were worse than Michael Jordan's. If you look at Michael Jordan, the history, the 10th grade, his coach told him should try a different sport. He wasn't any good at basketball and he's never going to make it. Can you imagine that? Michael Jordan being told that in the 10th grade? Good Lord. But Fernando, having heard no 1 million times, refused to give into it. And when he went with Indiana, he was one of the schools in California. I can't remember what it was. Berkeley. He was with Cal U at Berkeley. And Indiana was at the bottom. It had the worst track record in collegiate football. They hadn't won a title in 120 years. But everybody told him he was nuts for going to Indiana. Well, look at what happened. They got a coach from James Madison. They got Fernando, and they just went undefeated and won the championship. He's Cuban American. I think he's the first Cuban American to do that and win the Heisman Trophy. Just an amazing story of never ever giving up. And that's really the I want you to read the story, but just know this. You guys know how big I am on the resiliency of the human spirit. Just be inspired by that story. Share it with people, maybe print it, keep it with you, because you're going to have some challenges. Just expect them. This business is far from perfect. It is a lot of fun when you approach it with the right mindset. Just have the mindset of gratitude. It's maybe when things go wrong, just be grateful because you're going to learn from it. You'll know what to not do the next time. And by the way, whenever something doesn't go right, just know this. It's just a matter of time before something does go right. Okay, you're going to be more grateful for it. But learn from Fernando. By the way, I listened to sports shows. And a lot of them are starting to play some of the renditions of the song Fernando, and I'm just cracking up listening to this. Wait for this guy to play. It's hilarious. But so that's my little secret gift to you tonight is that post. Um, and Oh, everybody, Rob's asked you to please connect with him on Facebook. So if we're not connected, Rob, just remind me tomorrow morning when we meet. We'll do it right on our one-on-one call, okay?
Yeah, when you said the word Facebook, I remembered to say that, but I figured I would talk to you tomorrow
Okay.
on our call. We were connected before, but I got hacked like 3.5 years ago, and I've tried to get back on, and I couldn't do it. I finally got this one to stick. Hopefully, it does. But yeah, I lost
Good.
all of my connections, and it was
Yeah.
pretty painful
Thank,
financially as well. I used it for marketing more than anything else, but 3 or 4 different businesses. But
same thing
yeah,
happened to Andre.
anybody,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh wow, yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah.
I won't harp on it, but the entertainment side of it was the worst one because I've been doing that since 2004 before Facebook was a thing, and then 2010 LLC to business, and there was a lot of notoriety that I had there through connections and band stuff and
Yeah.
entertainment stuff, and it's expensive to
Yeah.
lose your whole network that way. So now I got to
Yeah.
back up.
But you know what?
But yeah,
That's a good.
I'm starting it again. I'm starting it again. I want to network and use it specifically for that. Would love to connect with anybody. Use it for referrals or whatever outside of our own tools. Use it in the real world for Facebook and LinkedIn and whatever.
Well, that's a great lesson though for everyone. Um, is to not be too single-threaded. Because that could happen. It's a very real It happened to Andre, like I said. But this is a reason why you want to have a YouTube channel, Facebook, LinkedIn, and I've got all the above. I'm not saying you need all of that, but I would tell you for sure, in addition to Facebook, I know it's tempting just to do that because you'll get business out of it. But I'm telling you right now, YouTube. Chastity, and I wish she was still on. When I saw her at the conference in October, on the third week of October, she'd already had over 50 transactions, 17 of them, a full third of them, 17 transactions alone from her YouTube channel. Okay.
Phenomenal.
That you can't argue with success. And I'll give you a tip. I'll give you an extra bonus tip tonight. I had Ryan, our VA, one of the VAs on the team, go into all the new videos we put out there on YouTube and put my Calendly link in there, and people are using it. So if you have a YouTube channel, put your Calendly link in the description for your videos. Okay. People will contact you. I just spoke with someone earlier today. He's in Alabama. His company is called Top Gun Real Estate. Well, you can imagine what his history is, right? And I'm interviewing him tomorrow for the team because he saw one of our videos and he decided to do the Calendly link and reach out to me. And I asked him, I said, if you don't mind me asking, how'd you find me? He said, I watched one of your YouTube videos and I saw the Calendly link and I thought, I'm going to talk to this guy and see if he can help me sell my land. So it turns out he's a broker. How about that? So definitely do that. Oh, speaking of videos, if you haven't submitted your video to Ryan yet, to load to the playlist, remember the Global Investor Asia Team YouTube channel has 16 playlists. One of them is the YouTube channel. That's you guys. So you have an opportunity to put out there a video. We're going to put on the playlist, and when we do, we're going to promote it all over social media. Hashtag you all over the place. And all you have to do is when you see yourself, like it, share it, comment, and all that generates what's called SEO. And people will start to find you because it's meant for you to get some extra bump in your publicity. So please send the video. So far, we've got honestly, I think about 6 people have sent in a video. I know Lili's one of them. Where's Michelle? Let's see if anybody else I can see here has done a video. If I don't call your name, don't worry. My memory's not as great as it used to be. But if you haven't done one, help us help you. Remember, a rising tide lifts all ships. So we're taking full advantage of YouTube because it is working. Okay. Okay. You guys have a wonderful night. God bless you and all your loved ones. I appreciate your participation. Appreciate your help. Everybody that pitched in. Lisa, you're always there for us. I really can't thank you enough. And
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
you're very welcome. I'll just remember me when you're rich and famous, right?
Well,
Listen, you guys,
we have a trip to Hawaii we got to do.
there you go. I'm ready. So you guys have a wonderful night. Okay, and just let me know if you need anything. Call, text, or email, and more importantly, keep setting up the one-on-ones. Oh, and Lily, if you could send me a message, let me know if you and Eric got to talk about um, uh, Chris Prefontaine his program last Wednesday. We could get his study group thing, or self-study program, and share it with everybody. That's one option we have to get that started if you guys are interested in adding that to the CAP program, Okay, I appreciate that. All right, guys. Have a good night. I'll see you in the one-on-ones, and I'll see you next Monday.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you for watching Monday Night Live. Consider subscribing. Agents, want to learn more? Schedule a call with Gary using the link in the description.